Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Haley Pavone. Haley Pavone is an entrepreneur whose ambition and passion for innovation led her to create the largest disruptive advancement women's footwear has ever seen, the world's first fully convertible heel. Pavone founded the company as a 20-year-old college junior while still graduating on time with her business entrepreneurship degree from California Polytechnic State University, San Luis Obispo. She has developed her innovative and massively disruptive technology, secured patent pending status in 30 countries, built out and trained a full supply chain on a completely new production method, executed the first rounds of production with phenomenal customer satisfaction ratings, developed and launched a comprehensive e-commerce site model, and raised over $4 million in seed funding. Well, good afternoon, Haley. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Brian. I'm so excited to be here.
You're absolutely welcome, but I'm really excited to have you. You've done such an amazing, just your career, starting out right out of college. You've just kind of jumped into entrepreneurship and you haven't looked back. And that's what we want to talk about today. And, this is a technology platform. So what's really cool is we get to talk a little bit how you went to Polytech University in California. So jumping right in, Haley, let's talk about your career a little bit. You're an entrepreneur coming right out of college, as I mentioned, and now you're the founder, president, and CEO at Pashion Footwear. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Oh, absolutely. That's such a fun question. And, to your point, I've had a very interesting career path. I actually started my business when I was still in college at California Polytechnic. So I was 20 when I got started. And I actually think that has been, one of the biggest secrets to us is when I dove into this industry, I had no experience in footwear. I'd never started a business before. And I had almost this kind of naive optimism about, the whole process. And that really led me to always asking why things are done the way they are done. I kind of came into this as a complete clean slate. I didn't have any preconceived notions about how to make shoes or how to start a business or anything to that effect. And so I went into every step of this journey asking, not just how should we do something, but why is it done that way? And really pushed to understand and kept pushing that limit to really explore, not only why is it done this way, but can we actually find a better way to do it? And when I was starting this company, I was told by dozens of footwear experts that convertible high heels can't exist because you just can't make shoes that way. And so me being naive, I kept pressing, why aren't they made that way? And I quickly realized the main answer was just that things were being done the way they'd always been done and that there was no real deeper explanation behind it. And so that was really when I realized there was a big opportunity here to do things differently and make a shoe differently and just approach the whole concept of footwear from a new perspective. And so that was really, kind of the key to identifying the opportunity and starting this whole thing to begin with. But that's been a real, I think, secret to my success is continuing to grow my career by every step of the way, coming in with as much of a blank slate as possible, asking why, and then finding out new ways to approach things and trying to improve on the processes that were already present. So I'd say that's definitely been kind of my secret sauce thus far. And on the inspiration front, I'd say the main thing that inspires me, honestly, is just seeing the impact that my invention and the footwear that we've created on top of that, the impact that it's having on real women's day-to-day lives. Nothing brings me more satisfaction and motivation than seeing great reviews coming through and knowing, as silly as it is, obviously it's just a shoe, but it really is having a difference on how women move through their day and really enabling their lifestyle in a way that products made for women haven't up until this point. And so just seeing it in action, the idea coming to life, it inspires me every step of the way.
I really love that, Haley. And, the fact that you just recently said you were naive about how the process is done, right? And deep down inside, you're an entrepreneur and you know this, that it's a lot of it was your persistence, A lot of it is the things that inspired you, that kept driving you. And this is what's so exciting about your story. Like I said, starting out in college, a lot of people get to the age 40 before they kind of figure out where they've gone wrong, what they've done well, that sort of thing. So that's amazing. So thank you. Haley, jumping into this pandemic, right? We think it's kind of lifted, maybe going back. It's great.
Who knows? Yeah.
Who knows? But what are your plans for business growth going forward? And will it be any different than that during the lockdown in the last 16 months?
Absolutely. To your point, when the first lockdown came down, I completely panicked. I mean, I think our entire team did. I'd always felt like our product use case was pretty diversified. I mean, women buy high heels for any number of reasons, from wedding to work to just casual date night. And I'd always thought we were pretty protected. What could possibly happen to take out all of those use cases at once? It seemed impossible. And then, here we were living that reality only 6 months after our launch. So going into the pandemic was definitely very scary, but over the last 16 months, I'm actually very proud of what we've done with the time. We really kind of doubled down on building out our operational foundation for growth and doubled down on building, some organic brand awareness and excitement in the community that's starting to build around our brand. And now that we have all of those things in place, I think the silver lining now coming out of the pandemic, hopefully, to your point, we'll see how that works out. But coming out of the pandemic, I feel like it's created this time in the market where our product could not be more of a perfect fit. I think the pandemic's really kind of created this interesting intersection of comfort and style where women are more eager than ever to dress up and get back to events and get back to weddings and just feel glammed up again. But at the same time, we've grown so used to comfort over the last year and a half that the thought of putting on, these death trap high heels doesn't sound very appealing to most women. We're very used to our slippers at this point. And so now coming out of this, our product is kind of this unique and, never before seen mix of comfort and style with the heel to flat ability. And it's been really exciting to actually see demand really growing as there's been more hope on the horizon and as more events have been getting planned again and offices are starting to reopen. So of course, we hope that maintains and things keep moving the way that they're moving. But really, we're switching our gears from, kind of that building of the foundation mode to now we're focusing more on, okay, how do we support growth? How do we grow our customer base? How do we grow referrals? Just how do we get more shoes on the ground out there? And our primary focus initially actually is going to be the bridal market. The wedding market is the hottest it's ever been, with people rebooking weddings and booking weddings out. And so kind of starting our focus there, and then hopefully we'll be evolving to the back to office market once that's looking more realistic. So really kind of moving from build mindset to growth mindset. And it's very exciting.
I love that. And before you know it, especially with the pandemic and everybody being at home in, sweats and yoga pants, right? You're going to probably have the next thing is going to be your high heel to slipper is my guess. I'm sure you've thought of that, but that's awesome. So thanks for sharing, Haley. Now, Haley, this is a technology platform, right? Publication. And we talk a lot about tech here, but we can't go without talking a little bit about it. So you're obviously leveraging some new and emerging technologies within your business, right? Is there anything you might be able to share with us today?
Sure. So to your point, we're actually a very interesting and different high heel company for a variety of reasons. But, from the technology side, we truly think of ourselves as a fashion tech company. We've created more than just a shoe here. We've actually created IP. We are patent pending on our design in 30 countries. We've created completely new technological components for a shoe that allow this transformation to happen. And in order to achieve that, we've also had to make some pretty big advancements on the materials and the manufacturing practices that we're using. My running joke is we've basically reinvented the heel, so to speak, from the ground up. Of our heel truly has almost nothing in common with any other high heel on the market. And that's very exciting. Having utility IP that brings defensible value to the customer is incredibly rare for the fashion segment in general. So it's a real competitive advantage for us. But as far as leveraging that technology, our top priority as a business is becoming the ultimate solution to high heel pain and inconvenience in general. And that means applying our IP to all kinds of footwear. So something very unique about our design is if you look at our website right now, we do have mostly a sandal focused offering just because those were the easiest to make. But we are able to integrate this technology onto boots, pumps, mules. I mean, really any silhouette of shoe we can execute this technology on. And so that's what's coming from us next is expanding the line to be fully comprehensive and have shoes that work for every woman, every circumstance, every occasion.
I really love that. And I appreciate you sharing what you're doing as far as integrating the technology and leveraging the patent around your products so that it not only protects your product, but also produces a notoriety around your product that you now actually have something that's unique and licensed. So thank you or patented. Haley, last question. Can you share something from your career experience that would be helpful for those looking to grow their career in either tech, leadership, or entrepreneurship?
Definitely. I think the biggest piece of advice I would have for people looking to get into entrepreneurship or, leadership, I think they're kind of synonymous in a lot of ways, but entrepreneurship in particular, something I wish I'd known when I was starting out was I've now realized resilience is the single most important thing to making it as an entrepreneur. I think, pop culture and the media have kind of glamorized what an entrepreneur looks like. And it's, you have an idea and then suddenly you're IPOing and you're worth billions of dollars, right? As much as I wish that was the truth, in the 5 years that I've been doing this, you'd be surprised what a roller coaster entrepreneurship is. There's a lot of ups and there's a lot of downs. And, the pandemic is a prime example. Who would have thought I'd launch my business only 6 months later to have our entire market wiped out simultaneously? But, so I've again come to realize, I think the only thing that sets successful entrepreneurs apart from those that don't make it is just refusing to give up, having that resilience and that creativity and that passion for what you're doing to stare an obstacle and the fear associated with it in the face and just say, no, this isn't going to be the end. I'm going to find a solution. And I think it's important that when new entrepreneurs are setting out, that they know that going in and they have that mindset and they know it's okay for there to be times that aren't, totally great and abundant. What really matters in this journey is how you handle the sides that aren't as pretty and still showing up every single day.
I really love that. And what's really cool, Haley, as we wrap up this podcast, we've had 35 countries. We've had CEOs from age 20 to age 70 on this show. And to see you come out of college with this much passion and inspiration, and then to share your knowledge with the rest of this audience that we have and guests that have been on here is just simply amazing. So thank you again. And Haley, it was a pleasure having you on today. And I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thank you, Brian. No, it was an absolute pleasure and just excited to get to share my story with you and the world.
Bye for now.